Okay, thank you everyone to pay attention about my presentation. So I am the last presenter for the second ORKG curation round. So today I'm going to show you firstly what is my domain of the research in University of Technology of Troyes, because I'm PhD student in partnership with University of Technology of Troyes and French Institute of Textile and Clothing. So for this presentation, I will try to divide my work into four parts. The first one will present a little bit my research field. The second one will show why I chose ORKG curation, and I will present a few work during this period and how I improve my work and working methodology I use. So I'm working currently in the domain of supply chain management, who is a concept that integrate the management of supply chain process. So the main role of the supply chain is to gain, for example, the efficiency from procurement and to distribution and logistics to meet, for example, the new challenge from e-commerce and to manage the inventory need across the supply chain and a lot of again. So what is the significant way in the supply chain? In the supply chain, you have a lot of activity like a transportation, you have a lot of activity like a supplier selection, distributor, the problem of localization and allocation. And to do that, we can divide the different decision inside into the supply chain into three big decision level. The first one corresponding to the strategic level, where we have to design, where this way represent the designing of supply chain, resource allocation, and the long-term planning. The second level of modelization of supply chain present the tactical way, where we have a production and distribution planning, and we have here again the resource allocation, but in the very short time. And the last way is operational level, where we have problem of shipment, resource scheduling, etc. So for solve a problem in the area of operational research, we have generally a global method. The first one is we need to modelize our problem first, and for the modelization, we have a lot of technique. We can use a mixed integer linear programming. For example, we can use a mathematical modeling. We can use, depend of our kind of problem, we can use maybe non-linear programming, stochastic linear programming, and a lot of methods. So after your modelization, you need to choose one method to solve your problem. For the method, you can use, for example, an exact method. We use the very specific algorithm like branch and bound and local share. You can use an heuristic and meta-heuristic method for very big instance. When your problem have a very big combinatory expression, you can use fuzzy optimization and neural network, etc. So when you solve your problem, the next step is to make some interpretation of your result and got the decision by your product owner. So after if your decision is well, you can maybe implement your solution method to the inside the support tool and making production. So why ORKG is very interesting in my area. So when I submit my candidacy in this curation, it was to try to answer to four relevant questions. The first one was to know how can research can contribute to environmental protection, because in my PhD subject, I was working on the optimization in the area of supply chain, but integrated the environmental and energetic aspect. So I will try to answer this question during all my iterations. So the second one was how could ORKG can help the researcher community to try to structure the publication and in order to reduce, for example, the review time of journal article and speed up the work of researcher, because in the area of operational research, for example, the mean time for reviewing for one journal paper takes sometimes 6 months or 5 months. So for the PhD student, we have sometimes 3 or 4 years to finish our PhD. Sometimes it's very difficult to get a lot of best publication because problem of time. The third question was how could the ORKG platform can facilitate and accelerate a bibliography research during a project research, for example. This case concerning, again, the PhD student to how we can try to use ORKG to make a very good literature review with a very best relevant paper in the literature. And the last one is how ORKG can help researchers to have a new research question. So to answer this question, we make a few contributions. We make 21 contributions with over 280 paper. So our contribution have 4 specific research problems. The first one concerning the closed loop supply chain, because in our PhD we are working on. The second one concerning the direct supply chain. The third one concerning the assembly and disassembling in inventory management, and the other one concerning a lot of subjects who have interest in the domain of supply chain, like artificial intelligence, semantic web, and industry 4.0. So in the area, for example, of closed loop supply chain, we have a lot of subjects covered by the paper that we add in the ORKG platform. A lot of subjects like a problem of design of closed loop supply chain, problem of redesign, problem of disruption, and we have more than 112 paper. And in the area of direct supply chain, we have a lot of characteristics, but the good thing to see here is we can remark that all of these research problems can have a lot of similarity. For example, here we have a similarity with design, redesign, and configuration inside the two domain research, like closed loop supply chain and direct supply chain. We can see the same remark in other way, like a semantic web and industry 4.0, who the author work, for example, in redesign, description, and resiliencies of supply chain, and the same subject is covered in the area of closed loop supply chain. So during our curation, we make some comparison. We create a lot of property to try to specify and try to have a very good definition. So for all of our contribution and all of our comparison, for example. So we have for our 21 comparison, we try to make some cluster for each property. For example, we try to separate and make some study on, for example, the property concerning the sustainability, the property concerning the triple bottom line, and the property concerning, for example, the mathematical modeling. We try to regroup all the paper that they have the same property, and we got these 3, for example, for all our comparison. So during this work, our contribution help us, for example, to answer 3 more of our questions, but just focuses on 2 levels of our supply chain, in the strategic level and tactical level. So in our first difficulty in this during this comparison was in our domain of operational research and engineering, we don't have a lot of paper. So I want to say that we are just, I was just the only one that I can add a paper. So it was not very easy to have the possibility to have a correlation with a lot of paper, with a lot of domain. But I think we got a challenge to add a more than 300 paper, and we got a best comparison. So now about our working methodology, how can I choose? How I choose the best paper in the literature? I use several motors like Google Scholar with different error. I use a database from Science Direct and Scopus. And when I got all this paper, I just regroup a new paper in Excel file and try to classify using the different property. Sometimes I can take, for example, the one best of the review that present maybe some comparison between a lot of paper, and try to add a new paper with a new contribution and a very new contribution. So thank you for your presentation now.